My name's Nick Dry. I'm a consultant with Foundation Viticulture. Foundation Viticulture is a business I started back in 2019. I studied viticulture at Adelaide University. It appealed to me because of the opportunities to be outside. You know, there was a certain sense of freedom that seemed to come with being out in the vineyard. And I'd also been exposed to travel and viticulture and being out in vineyards. So as a 17-year-old, those two sort of, combinations were enough to give me the impetus to go to university. And once I was there, I just loved it. It was one of those things that seemed to click. I guess what you could tell from my career is that it's not necessarily linear. You can end up in all sorts of different viticultural related jobs, not necessarily being tied to a vineyard. It's also sort of grown with my personal life as well. So now as a viticultural consultant, it's given me the flexibility to work from home and select my hours. So it is the sort of career that allows you to grow and develop with your life as well. To be a successful consultant, you really need to have a bit of a niche expertise. My particular expertise is in the selection of varieties, clones and rootstocks, and in ensuring that there's quality planting material going into your vineyard. So what variety should I plant, what clone of that variety, and then what particular rootstock is well suited to the site and the climate. Great thing about taking on a career in viticulture is that there's lots of different avenues that you can take. It's not just about growing the grapes, or it's not just about making the wine. You know, if you're managing a vineyard, you're part accountant, you're part human resources, so you're managing staff. You need to be able to market your fruit or your grapes. You need to be able to develop strategy on short, medium and long term. So it's not just the science of grape growing. There's a whole number of different elements involved as well. And further to that, the better operators are those that are getting out and meeting people, linking up, using the resources that are available to them within their own region or nationally. So there's some great organisations out there like ASVO, the Australian Society of Viticulture and Enology, which has a really strong collegiate feel to it. So there's definitely opportunities to get out there and either do something new in an entrepreneurial sense or just managing a business. University, it does give you that strong foundation. So it gives you the science, the biology, the chemistry, the soil science, from which you start to build, that understanding of, the particular aspects of growing grapes. The other aspects is around researching and finding answers and problem solving, and I think a lot of that comes through that university environment. And then, it's the connections that you make under those circumstances as well. So you're developing that network through that period of time, and you don't realise it at the time, but, reflecting upon it now after 25 years almost of being out, a lot of the same people that you're associating with, you can relate back to those formative years at university. My work these days involves a lot of time in the office. I do spend a lot of time writing, strategizing, using whiteboards, and there's always meetings. There's always Zoom or Teams meetings, phone calls, trying to keep up to date with what's going on generally in the industry, so, reading industry magazines. But no day is the same. A lot of the larger wine companies, they do have work experience programs, so, I would say look out for those experiences. But there's also opportunities to get outside and experience what it's like to work outside, because sometimes the idea of something might be different to the reality. And the thing with viticulture is that certainly early in your career, you will spend a lot of time outside. You will be in the elements. It's going to be hot, it's going to be cold, it's going to be wet, and occasionally uncomfortable. So you need to make sure that, that's something that you're okay with. And so if you're not living in an area where you can access works directly in a vineyard, I guess you could look at things like getting some experience in landscaping or other horticultural businesses, or even in a plant nursery, a retail plant nursery. So just sort of mimicking that experience of being outside, being involved with plants, and being exposed to the elements, I think is a good starting point. And it also looks great on your resume. I think to sum up viticulture in 3 words, I would say it's challenging. There's the seasonal elements always make for challenges. You're dealing with a biological system. It's diverse. It's not just growing grapes. You're an accountant, you're a marketer, you're dealing with staff. The final thing would be, it's fun. Being involved in the wine industry is a lot of fun. You'll go to some amazing dinners, you'll drink some amazing wines, you'll meet some amazing people, and at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of people growing grapes and making wine and having some fun along the way.